There we go. Well, good evening, everyone. Super excited to be coming to you guys live tonight. I am Cullen Haskins, and that is
Jason Pelland.
That's it. That's it. Red hot and rolling. Super excited to be hanging out with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be talking how to grow a successful unfranchised business. This is the Master UFO Action Plan and 53 Challenge that each and every one of you are a part of. And if you're not, you want to be. So you want to get connected to somebody that's going to show you the ropes and invite you in and put you on an accountability group. So then therefore it's all about teamwork, right, Jason?
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. See you guys all coming in. We've got the numbers escalating here. Also on Facebook. So hello to everyone on Facebook. Throw in the chat where you guys are coming from. We see all the leaders jumping in and just doing such a great job with this entire 53 challenge. So stay focused and stay the course, right, Cullen? Each and every week. Glad you're on.
Every single week. Staying consistent is really what it's all about. You know, I've been with the Unfranchised for over 24 years now, and that's what it's been all about all the way from day one when I was. Jason, how about you? How long have you been with the Unfranchised?
Well, I was introduced over 20 years ago, but I took the leap and made a change in my life in 2003. And I'll tell you what, just like a lot of people, there's everyone's life and your path and your journey is different. I was introduced because I was a personal trainer and I fell in love with our isotonics, and that's all I wanted to focus on. But I really caught the vision of the company in about 2008, 2010, and it's been a blessing.
Love it, man. And Jason, of course, you are the director of our internet marketing and websites, right? Web Center division, right?
That is correct. That is correct. And you obviously the director of the GMTSS and a member of our executive sales team. So Cullen, doing a great job. We appreciate all your hard work.
Well, that's it. It's all about teamwork and just the same as it is for every single one of you in the field. It takes all of us for any one of us to be successful, as the amazing Tony Bowling always used to say. So with that being said, we're going to kick tonight off with some recognition for all of you that are nailing the leaderboard. We got some shout outs, and we're going to start out with United States. And as you guys can see, we got a few categories here, from new personally sponsored on franchise owners to new BV and sales, which is all about driving volume and retail profit. Those of you that are exposing the management performance compensation plan to your guests, and then of course personal orders from partner stores, and then adding customers. You guys registered new preferred customers. As you can see, incredible names listed here. We don't have time to read them all off, but if you're on the list, huge congratulations, way to go. And that is in the US, by the way. Yeah, high five on that one. And then Canada, right, Jason? Our brothers and sisters to the north. Right?
Yeah, tearing it up. Look at all these names and all their activity. It is impressive. We're seeing that in the chat right now. So much great stuff happening in the US, but also look at this in Canada. So many success stories.
That's it. And of course, this is just the weekly leaderboard. Every week, who's really moving and shaking. By the way, little drum roll. Our special guest who's joining us here tonight. As you can see, she is on the leaderboard multiple times on here, all the way from new registered PC. She's on the list, all the way to, here we go, personal orders from partner stores. She's on that list. Exposing the MPCP. She's on that list as well. Please welcome Jessica Turner from Canada. Woohoo!
Hi, Colin. Hi, Jason. Thanks so much for having me. And hello, everyone.
Super excited to have you on the line with us. And Jessica, give everybody, what's your background?
So I have been a unfranchised owner for about 4 years now. I actually come from a background in marketing and advertising as a sales director. And much like Jason, was introduced to the products first and was looking for the best products to do so. And I was introduced to the isotonics. And much like Jason, sort of that was where I wanted to focus. And then I got exposed to the larger business, and I am actively building the unfranchised business as my new. So when people ask me what I do, I say I'm an entrepreneur now. That's what
Let's go.
Yeah.
And you're doing such a bang up job, Jessica. You're doing such a great job. So kudos to you. Keep up the great work, and glad you could join us.
Thank you.
High five on that. Way to go. And let's take a look at our worldwide leaderboard. And as you guys know, it's not about who's in first. It's about consistently growing your business, because you never know as things shift a little bit. And when you're hot, you guys, and that's super awesome. So huge congratulations to any of you who are on the leaderboard. And for those of you that plan on being there in the near future, way to go. Now, tonight, we are all about our main featured topic, which is following up and building into the ABC pattern, which is growing an organization that is in it for the long haul, you guys. And follow up is all about duplication, following up with customers, following up with prospects, and following up with potential business partners, people that want to be entrepreneurs like the rest of us, right, Jason?
That's right. And I'll tell you, one of the other things that isn't on the screen that you guys all know as part of 53 Challenge, one of the most important things that you can follow up with is your own business on a weekly basis, following up with your own activity to stay focused, stay the course like Jessica has, and making sure that you are doing those result producing activities. So of course, add yourself into that list. Make sure that you're following up with your own business as well as your customers, prospects, and your business partners.
I love it. Jessica, what's your favorite way to follow up as far as what tool do you use as far as calendar or reminders, or how are you following up?
So I'm a little bit old school. I use the Jim Winkler, accountability building momentum sheet. And you can see they're stacked. So I follow them every 12 weeks. I start over. And so I can keep referring back each week to see who I need to follow up with, who I've talked with. I make notes about what my follow-up is going to be. So this comes with me everywhere, because that's kind of my Bible for the 12 weeks. And I try to build 12 weeks at a time.
Love it. Jason, how about you, buddy?
Well, I'll tell you what, when it comes to business building, I'm like Jessica. I need to see it. I actually need to write it. So I'm a pen and paper kind of guy, which might shock a lot of you being the technical background, right? Director of web centers, I'm using pen and paper. I just find that sometimes things slip through the cracks. I've tried spreadsheets, I've tried different systems, CRMs, but for me, pen and paper. But I will tell you, I was not great at following up with my customers. I just kind of expected them to reorder. And this is my professional background as a trainer. I just said, well, they'll do it when they're ready. But I'll tell you what, Cullen, my favorite tool right now that we've launched for my customers that I follow up with every single day I'm on there is the Unfranchised marketing app with Pulse. I'm going in that Pulse and I'm using that to follow up with customers. And I've done a lot of win back orders because of people that may have not ordered in a certain amount of time. So leverage the tools and find out what works best for you. But without having the information at your fingertips, it's hard to follow up, right?
Absolutely. And for everyone who's on the line with us, whether you are on the Zoom session or you're on Facebook Live, throw it into the chat or the comments. What's your favorite tool or system that you're using to follow up? I am a guy who uses the technology, and I'm all about everything is in my phone, and my phone syncs to like 6 different devices, and I got warnings going off everywhere, buzzers, warning, Will Robinson, like, here we go over here. However, also to Jason's point, I also am a huge fan of our Unfranchised marketing app and Pulse, because I don't know how many people we talk to, Jason and Jessica. People come up and say, I'm really great at this, and then, but I stink at follow up. I mean, that's many people. And so I'm with the Pulse side of the app. It's kind of like, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. But see, with the unfranchised system and our Unfranchised marketing app and Pulse, we're going to write a new book. Don't think, because of the proven system. I tell you what, we had we did a wellness 101 where we just kind of seeded the business at the end at a dentist office in Sarasota this past weekend, you guys. And fascinating enough, I kind of seeded the app at the end because I had some other business owners in the room. I also had another chiropractor and his office manager in this event as well. As all guests just evaluating us, I seeded the app. They immediately were like, okay, what's this app all about? Like, that's unbelievable. Like, they couldn't believe that how much the app does for us to ensure that we show our customers that we care and that we are there for them in order to support them. So,
well, real quick, Cullen, it's funny that you said a phrase that we've all heard numerous times, and it's the fortune is in the
follow up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yet more often than not, we hear people that say where I struggle the most is following up. Like the one thing that you can really do to pour gas on the fire is where people struggle. So having tools and having a system in place is critical to your success.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Now, the ABC pattern, again, is being all about duplication, right? So the objective for new unfranchised owner and existing unfranchised owners is to lead to the prospects while building the business and creating duplication. So as we follow the pattern, the goal is to get people to lead us to people before there's any major decision to be made. And therefore, that gives us control over growing our unfranchised. So we're not just waiting on one person. We might have like 5 to 10 people in the possibility jar, as we know, throwing beans into the jar, like JR has always taught us, you guys. But the bottom line is it takes the chance out of it in order to make sure that we're creating duplication. Now, Jessica, I know one of the reasons I wanted you to jump on with us tonight is because Jason and I were talking about something we had heard, and you're leveraging some playing cards in order to make this process super simple in your whole evaluation process. And I think it's so dynamite. I wanted you to share it with everybody.
Sure, absolutely, Cullen. And I have to give props and shout out to Dryden, because Dryden, so a couple of years ago, Dryden, if you haven't listened to Dryden speak, you have to, because he's a lot like JR. He's really great at simplifying certain components of the business. And, he talked about the fact that our prospects are like a deck of cards. And, if you follow the system and you show the plan, let's just say an average of 2 times a week, you're going to show the plan to 104 people, which is like 2 decks of cards in a year. And you're looking for your aces. The average, the formula that, because the system works, is that if you show 52 people the business, you will have 4 partners on average when you're done. There's your aces. So I really love the analogy of Dryden saying, you don't be disappointed with the no, because the no represents one of the cards that means you're 1 card closer to reaching your ace. So I took him literally, and I went out and bought some playing cards. Now I've got some blank ones. These are the ones that literally sit on my desk, waiting for prospects' names to go on them. I have currently people that are my active prospects. So once I've started chatting with someone and we're actually in a dialogue and they've acknowledged they want to hear from me, then their name goes on the list. And once I've determined that it's not right now, or they're looking to be a customer, then I give them a card number that is not an ace. Could be a jack of clubs, could be a 3 of hearts, doesn't matter. And I stick it on my board. I have a giant board on my wall that I look at every day right in front of me that has everyone that is not an ace. And then in the middle of all of that, I have all of my aces. So every time someone qualifies and registers, I add them as an ace. I have a few people that I've had to scratch out because they were a not now, and they came back a year or 2 later and did end up joining because they were qualified. And so their Queen of Hearts has been scratched out. They're happy to be an ace and they are up on my wall. And the reason for doing that is because it constantly reminds me every day that the no's are part of the process, that I'm learning to welcome the no's, because I don't want the no's to say yes, right? So I've been doing this for 4 years, and the number one reason why I haven't been able to move as quickly as I wanted is because I didn't get consistent with getting to the B's and the C's. I got excited when the A's said yes. And so you're constantly stopping and starting, and you can't build consistent momentum when you're constantly stopping and starting. So these deck of cards really remind me that the no's are part of it. So now I get as excited, maybe not as excited, closely as excited with the no's as I do with the aces, because I know it's just a numbers game and it's just a matter of time. And I've had weeks, even sometimes a quarter, where I've had a ton of non-aces coming up, and then boom, I'll get 2 or 3 aces at once. So consistently, those 52 cards always play out. There's always 4 aces. And that just helps me stay consistent so that I don't falter on those days when I'm not feeling quite as, rah about everything.
I love that. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I also love that. And the fact of the matter is, you can't turn a 2 into an ace. Right. As hard as you try, Jessica, you cannot make a 2 or a 3 an ace. It's up to them to determine based on their timing. And of course, we all have jokers, right? Jokers are wild. We don't know what's going to happen with them. But it's a fun way to kind of gamify it a little bit too. And I love the fact that you've kind of made it so that it's not about failure or rejection. It's part of the process. And it's so critical.
Yeah.
You know, what's so amazing about it, you guys, is Trinity and I have always talked about the cards as we were growing our business too, because so often it was like you could go through 52 cards and do one a week, 52 weeks in a year. And at some point, like Jessica's saying, you're going to hit. But why would I wait a whole year to get through 52 possibilities? See, so it makes you up the ante a little bit in order to go faster, because the faster we filter through some people, the faster we're going to find some aces. We're going to find some go nows right now today. Their timing is perfect and they're in the right place at the right time with the right company, with the right people. And the only question is, are they the right person? Are they the ace that we're calling on? And ultimately, as we do it too, I know sometimes when we talk about a numbers game, let's talk about that briefly too, because for some people, they take that the wrong way. Okay. And so remember, nothing has meaning except for the meaning we attach to it, no matter what it is, positive or negative, whatever somebody says. So in this case, we say numbers game, you're trying to get through some cards. Well, that doesn't mean that we're being insensitive or we don't care about helping people. At the heart of the matter, we love helping people, but we got to get to the people who want the help. And the law of the universe, the law of probability, okay, is that we got to work through some people to get to the right people. And then also in understanding the ABC pattern of working smarter, if the person we're approaching trusts us enough in building that short relationship, even if timing ain't perfect for them, they will give us a referral if we've built trust. And sometimes that might take a meeting or two. Sometimes it might take starting on some of our products, but that's when people start leading to people and you're not so much focused on the outcome of the appointment in front of you, but who they may know. But I have to build a relationship with the one in front of me so they trust me to lead me to the ones they know. Isn't that true, you guys?
It is.
I will say too, oh, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jessica.
I was going to say that comment about the numbers game. I think there's a time and place for it to be numbers, because when it's numbers, then you don't take it as personally when you get the no's, because you recognize that that's part of it. So I think if you need to use the numbers to take the personal, impact of it out, then do that. And then when you find the people who want to be helped, then that's when you get to help them. So I still get to help people. I just don't spend my time trying to help someone who's not looking for help at this point.
Yeah, and if you've got a names list, a possibilities list, and there's 10 people on that list, the psychology is very different than you've got a list of 100 possibilities, to your point. And we talk about that bean jar. And as we talk about the ABC pattern, we talk about the idea that everyone that you reach out to has their own bean jar of possibilities. Your job is to help sort through those people as well. Well, now with this analogy that you've brought to the table, Jessica, everyone has another deck of cards. So a 2 may not be able to be an ace themselves, but they can certainly lead you to an ace. And that's the name of the game, is to shuffle through the deck to help people identify those aces, either themselves or through them, to make sure that you've got a solid hand to play with.
Absolutely. Love this. Now, as we're starting the ABC pattern, it all starts with our one-on-ones, two-on-ones, getting together. I mean, a lot of times I like working in combinations, you guys, but that doesn't always work. Where, how am I supposed to coordinate always with, let's say, Jessica, her and I are partners. If our schedules aren't in alignment, it doesn't mean I cannot meet with somebody by myself. But at the same token, do I have the posture? Do I have the confidence? Do I have the belief? Do I have a strong reason why, a strong goal and mission and vision statement? If there's one thing everybody should always have taken from J.R. Ridinger when he was on stage or off the stage for that matter, is it was his mission and vision and where he was headed. Even without any products in the beginning, best product compensation plan, but obviously as he was cultivating the compensation plan, he was always selling the belief and the vision of where we're headed as a company as things are getting better. So even as JR was getting better himself and making the company better, he already believed. So remember that when you're out, whether it's a one-on-one, two-on-one home business presentation, or we get to the UBP, as we get into that freeway of a lot of great activity happening, people are still buying our posture and the fact that JR started with his first $300 check, but he still had to sell Dennis Franks and Tony Bowling and all the pioneers on the vision of where we're headed. And that always helped me, you guys, when I thought about it, because I thought, wow, JR built this thing from nothing. So even when I was nothing as a commission check, like, what am I, get activated and get commission check? And he's speaking the truth. He went through it. when we had nothing to believe in back then, other than just the belief of the vision. See, that's so powerful, you guys. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. And painting the picture and letting other people know where you're going is very important in the process too, because people want to follow a leader. They want to know that someone's going somewhere. They want to align themselves with. So as you're going through this ABC pattern and you're presenting the opportunity, it's very important to have that posture, but also to let people know like where you are going, because you're going to attract the right people. And that's how you're going to help those aces identify themselves.
Absolutely.
Something to add for some of the newer partners that are on the call. If you're feeling like you're not where you should be, or you think you should be in the business, I've had partners say, well, it's hard to have posture when I'm not where I want to be. But you can answer that you're on your way to reaching your goals, because we talk about the fact that everyone has different goals in his business. So my goal is not going to be the same as your goal, Cullen or Jason. So I say to people, I'm on my way to achieving my goals, which is true. So wherever you are, you're on your way. Use that as your posture, because that will still convince people that are meeting with you will be excited that you're on your way, and they're going to want to get on their way with their goal as well. So it's not about how far you've come. It's about where you're going and how focused you are to get there.
100%. One more thing I'm going to say about the ABC pattern and the pictures you see on the screen here, you guys, it's all about unification and working in teams and combinations and what we call cross-pollination. So no matter your organizational genealogy, doesn't really matter. You could look at the center, the HBP, or you could look at the UBP, and there's many different organizations that are all teaming up together. But it's also, the content is great. We know our business system's amazing. We know that our products are incredible, but we also know that we're first in class with people and having integrity. And we got to get to the meeting after the meeting to make sure people can network and build relationships with different people in that room. And so some people in the room might have the backbone or the spine that helps you have the posture. And that's why you want to introduce your guest to those people. So make sure we're working smarter as we leverage in-home events, or if it's a shop live for that matter. Shop lives have been going gangbusters, product sales going amazing with that. But as we're really focused on getting back in the homes and getting into the unfranchised business presentations, just remember that that group setting provides validation to what we are as a company, which is why it's important to show up to those and bring guests, and show up with or without a guest. Because even if I don't have a guest, Jason could be banking on the fact that I'm going to be there that night and he has a guest he wants to introduce to me, regardless of your status in the company. Doesn't really matter your background or occupation, and you're making good money, but maybe you haven't hit director yet. So what? It's awesome. Like, everybody's going to be at a different place in business, but we all add value to the team, right?
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about the ABC pattern in this screen is that the ABC pattern is best to initiate in this process of introducing new people, presenting the business, bringing them to an HBP, bringing them to a UBP. So we don't wait until someone registers their unfranchised business to start that ABC pattern. The ABC pattern is actually part of the process as they're doing what we call that trial run. They're getting to meet people, like Cullen said, at the UBP. They're getting to try product. You're getting them into your unfranchised marketing app. They're trying some samples. They're experiencing the business for themselves. And we're moving through that process, maybe prior to them even registering. So don't feel like you've got to sponsor someone before you start the ABC pattern. I think ultimately using this no decision close ultimately leads the ABC pattern prior to any registrations. And it's a beautiful thing when you see it happening.
I love it. And so what would be a pre-qualifier for you, Jessica, as to whether or not you're going to bring somebody into the business? Because we know that there's people that, some people take this thing so literal that they're like, this person hasn't led me to 5 people they're going to sponsor and 100 customers, you know, like way over the top. And then you have other people that may be too fast. And it's like they showed the plan and they signed somebody up that day. Right. And that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that we up the odds of having like an 80-85% retention rate with the people that we're working with, because we're working too hard just to bring somebody in to hope that they make it. We want to know that they're committed to doing it with us. So what would be something that you maybe look at in order to pre-qualify and know that, you know what, this person's ready to go?
So I think a lot of it does depend on who you're speaking with, because you have to figure out if someone is really focused on business or really focused on what their connection is. Because I find right these days, a lot of people are looking for that personal connection, and so a lot of times the first qualifier is to get engaged with the team, get to meet the team, see how you fit with the different personalities. And so what's great about our posture with our group is when we go out, we say, we're looking to help people be customers and put some money back in their pocket. And then we're looking for qualified people that want to talk about joining our team and building a business with us. So we let people know that they have to show interest in order for that to be a conversation. So we do a lot of first looks. And from that, we also use that opportunity to sample. So we are big believers in the products and the people kind of usually seal the deal. The business, we're doing it anyway in most cases. So once we've got the products and the people, when we start talking to the people, we ask them about their people without them thinking that they're coming up with names, so that they see how easy it is to come up with those Bs. And so those are really that's what's been working best for us right now, is just focusing on getting them there, because that trial run starts very organically once those two things are checked off the list.
Love it. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I would, echo what Jessica just said. It's about aligning yourself with other people that share that same energy and passion. They've got to want something more than what they've got. They've got to need a desire to do something to attain their goals. We know that this is not something where they, just register a business and, you achieve your goals. They got to be willing to do some things like attend some meetings, meet the team. I like them to see the business 2 to 3 times. I need them to understand that, but I also need them to try a product. They're not going to register a business if they haven't tried a product, right? Why would you ever own any type of business without trying a product? That would be, shocking to see your success rate if you weren't a product of the product. And I do like them to have other people evaluate it. If nothing else, not because I need them to lead to people for them to potentially activate. I want to know who they surround themselves with. I need to know what type of person this is. So that's a good qualifier for me is, there's a saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, I want to know who they're spending time with, because that's going to dictate what kind of person they are.
I love that you brought that up ultimately, because even when we go back to the 52 card analogy, you guys, if somebody's introducing me or any one of us to 52 people, but all 52 people don't believe in themselves at all. And I know I'm being drastic here, but let's just say that you introduce me to 52 people that literally, that's what JR talks about, is they need a lot of mental brain surgery, non-invasive brain surgery, just because of how they've been programmed to believe, what they've thought to be true. And so that doesn't mean we can't help those people, but you could go through 52 cards and say, maybe I'm approaching I want to help them, but they don't want to help themselves, right? So it's kind of a good awareness to say, but if you approach 52 business owners, 52 people that believe in themselves from a success standpoint, whatever it is their background is, but 52 of them, your ratio is going to go through the roof, folks. I'm just telling you. So you just got to qualifying as you get to know people to find out, is this person diamond mentally? And maybe they're not quite the diamond, but they're on their way, diamond in the rough, i.e. Cullen and Trinity Haskins. She always reminds me I was way more rough than her, but we needed some polish, but we can get there just like the rest of you have all gotten there and on your way to getting there. But just note this, it is a trial run. It's not a trial walk. And so as we're going to run, the person going to run with us or the person going to walk. And you got to recognize, are they walking or running? You're talking about the same person to me, like, 3 months from now, about the same person you have on a trial walk at this point and how much potential that they have. Everyone has incredible potential. I love everybody. You should love everybody, but they're on a walk. Okay. We're on a walk. You plug them into the system, plug them into our training system, and you go find somebody who wants to run with you as part of the trial run. And look, if they're buying product, they like the product, they're leading me to people, they buy a convention ticket, now a leadership ticket, let's go. They're plugging into the local seminar. They're plugging into leadership school. What are we waiting on? Everything is moving. And if the faster we got it moving, faster we're going to make this thing happen. And that's why we want to encourage the trial run. And as people lead to people, the key in this diagram, folks, is we got to pass the baton. ABC pattern is all about empowering the A person to then coach B and then down to C. And now we get to the A1 level down the right leg here, let's say. Now A, B, and C are all doing a piece of the plan. They're all doing a piece of what we're doing. So it's an incredible feeling to know that I have to be the leader to step up and direct and show everybody how this is done by example, because if I'm bringing a guest, then they're bringing a guest and we're all doing it together. However, now I need to empower my team and not be Mother Teresa over the whole thing. And now I have to empower them and say, you got this, and, you know, let them lead it. And I'm just there to catch everything if it falls. That's the most important part of duplicating and imprinting to make sure that this is going to grow.
Yeah. And I think, you know, when we look at that diagram, a lot of people misunderstand it and think that all of these individuals are actually unfranchised owners. This is the process of people leading to people to find the right ones to work with that then become business partners. So it's a process of A leading to B, leading to C, and maybe at some point B is no longer interested. Well, then you've got A and C to continue that process to find what? The ace. And once you have the ace, you start that pattern over again, which would be the next A1 leading to B1 to C1. So don't think that this is a full line of people that are coming into the business. They're registering an unfranchised that is then sponsoring B, that's sponsoring C. This is a process of people leading to people to find and identify the right person for you to empower, as Cullen, you just said, and then invest your time with. Right? So it's never going to be perfect. A is not always going to lead to B, who's always going to lead to C. A might lead you to B, C, D, E, F, G, but then G is the person that says, get out of my way. I love this and I'm ready to get going. I'm your ace. Right?
Love it. Absolutely. So just remember, since it isn't going to unfold perfectly, that's why, you know, I think some people take some of the coaching so literal. And I want to encourage all of you, if you are that kind of person, take a deep breath, go take some bliss, and just know that it doesn't have to be so rigid, because people are going to be people. So even like with Elizabeth and her team, they step one, step two, so, you know, it's great, but that doesn't mean that Elizabeth never doesn't go like 1, 2, 3, like fast, or 1, 2, 3, all in one session, like boom, 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 like fast. Cause that person's ready to go fast. I'm going to go fast. I'm not going to, whoa, slow it down. We got to take this thing on a slower process. Never, never. Okay. I'm telling you, you want to have fun. You want to drive the train faster, but you're going to match people's efforts. That's the easiest way to think about it. If somebody wants to go fast, you're going to go fast. If they want to go slow, you let them go slow. But I'm looking for people that want to go fast as the people are going slow. And now we all meet and there's massive growth happening. And so then therefore we got the ABC pattern in full effect. Okay. And so just remember that duplication always is happening from the bottom up and not the top down. Now the top, we're leading, we're being the leader and we're passing the baton and we're empowering people, but ultimately we need them to step up and be the leader. Let it, you know, many people, if you said, I'm looking for leaders, I tested this one time, you guys, I started asking, hey, I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for leaders. Just that alone scared people. I'm just saying, a lot of people don't even see themselves. Even really great leaders don't think they're the leader because they're so humble about it. So you got to be careful again, what you're putting out there. So yeah, I'm looking for the top networker that, you know, I'm looking for someone who's very well connected. I'm looking for somebody who, when they walk in the room, they smile and they light the whole room up and everybody wants to be their friend. Do you know anybody like this? And the person says, oh, that's me, you know, because now it's just more about friendship and hanging out with people. But really, that's a great leader already. Now, they may not see that yet, though. See, we see it, but they don't see it. But I also didn't want to scare them away. But that's exactly how JR built this in the beginning. And it's the same way many of us have built it, which is he had to go through a number of people to then all of a sudden identify Dennis Franks. They didn't know each other before they had franchise. See, but he went through people always asking for who is the top networker, you know, who's the most well-connected person, you know, who has some influence over a group of people. And a lot of times those are some people that have had some level of success. And that doesn't always have to be financial success, although that is a pretty good indicator. But any levels of success, whether it's in their music career or acting or whatever it might be, in their school, they worked their way up in the school system and now they're like an administrator. That's success. It doesn't matter, but it's a mindset is what I'm getting at as we light the fire from the bottom. Jessica, anything to add on that?
I would add, I remember when I first got started, Jim Winkler said something, and I've used it several times because I get a lot of people will say to me, well, you're already a leader, you're already a sales director, so you're used to doing this. And I use Jim's line and say, but you get me for free. Like, that's the beauty of it, is that you don't have to have the skills when you start. You just have the openness to learn the skills. And once we figure out what area you want to focus on, then we help you build and get better at that. So it's great because once you meet the team, whatever team you're meeting, you can feel it right away that those people want to help you be the best version of what you want to be. So a lot of times it's just about getting them exposed to see what's possible and then help them untap that. So yeah, I agree completely.
Love it.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask, how do you get someone to lead to people? Like, where do I find their people? Because they say, well, I've got someone who's interested, but how do I get this ABC pattern started? Like, how can I get them? Are they going to give me a list of 100 names right away? Probably not. But what are some things, Cullen, when you're showing the plan, when are some opportunities that you might use to have someone bring up some contacts that they may know?
I'm always asking people, who do you know who? And then you fill in the blank. And I do think that that's really where it's at. It's all about the art of asking questions, because he or she who asks the questions, as long as they're meaningful questions, is going to direct the conversation where we know we can go help somebody, and thinking in terms of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't know themselves where the people are going to come from. So they're trying to think themselves, where do I see myself in this business? And they're trying to make that decision. And they're trying to make the decision, and we're trying to get them to not make a decision. So, there's certain things that you can do while you're in conversations, like Cullen said, asking questions, who do you know who? As simple as you get to step 4, when you're showing the business plan, you can say, well, if I'm talking to someone who, owns a bakery, I'll say, great, you own a bakery. Who would be the number one person that you would want to run a new bakery location by? Right? Is that a spouse? Is it a close friend? Is it your best customer? And they say, well, it'd probably be my friend Jane. Well, why would you ask Jane? Well, I would ask Jane because she's an accountant and she would let me know whether or not I should open up another location. Great. Now you catalog it, because now you know that this person knows Jane, who has a skill set and might know some other people. So all the way, you're trying not to present the business. You're trying to have a conversation, and that's going to take practice, right? And we've got incredible resources to learn all about this. And I think the ABC pattern is one of those things that a lot of people want to know how to do it better, but there's some incredible resources. Fortunately, we had an incredible demonstration with JR at our last MAIC.
It was amazing.
Wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, to see it unfold and how you get, house to lead to the right people. Not everyone's going to join. Not everyone's going to lead to people, but we're going to bring whoever is those aces, as Jessica said, along this process. And that video is available for all of us. And I think it's something that everyone should study, quite honestly. I would go directly to your unfranchised.com, go to the banner that says MAIC and JR's resources, and you've got the video. You've got the video right there. We also have in support materials, you can literally search ABC pattern. Search ABC pattern, you'll get what? From the man with the plan, right from JR, who is the most incredible individual who built this whole company with the ABC pattern, outlining how this no decision close and follow-up process works, right in a document put together. Audio training. I love to listen to podcasts, but I don't listen to podcasts that are not MA related right now, because I want to get so super laser focused on how to be the best unfranchised owner. So you're going to listen to what? Incredible UFOs like Elizabeth Weber. And of course, JR with his special business building sessions in audio format. And of course, the 90-day fast track back from 1998. Guys, all the tools are there, and you can learn and implement them to grow your business, just like Jessica has, just like Cullen has. but you have to just know where to find these tools to learn as best you can.
And I would also recommend you guys that I used to listen to the 90-day fast track until it started coming out of my mouth. And I don't mean I could recite the audio. It just means I would go on an appointment. I would meet with somebody to share the business with them. And then it would just come out and I would say, oh my gosh, I sounded pretty good. I'm getting better. Like, you know, but it was getting programmed because I kept listening to it over and over again, how it was being conveyed and different things that were said, or even Drayton's presentation he just gave. There were so many things that you can tell Drayton is living. He doesn't need to have a PowerPoint on it. It's just, he says it all the time. And so it's second nature, which is what business needs to become, not overnight, but over time of practicing and having these meaningful conversations so you can talk fluent market America. Okay. Super critical to do that. Guys, next week, you're not going to want to miss next week. Week 12 is all about growing leadership and positioning yourself in order to become that leader. So on behalf of our incredible panel here tonight, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Make sure that you take one of them tools that Jason was just talking about and implement it and stay focused on it and stay the course, as we all know, in order to become better. Jessica, Jason, thanks for joining me tonight. What an awesome session.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot.
Cullen.
Absolutely.